People who have adult children that don't talk to you. Why do you think that is? Parent. It's because I fucked up and neglected the relationship. I wasn't the father she deserved. It's that simple. Mom here. My 23-year-old hasn't spoken to me in 4 years. It was completely my fault. I've struggled with addiction, alcohol, and for most of her childhood I was bad. I hope to be able to apologize to her someday. But I completely understand and respect her decision. From the other parent perspective, my adult children, 25 and 23, do not communicate with their father at all. Long story short, he remarried about a week after our divorce was final, and he and his new wife went on to have children of their own. Over time, his visits with the children became more infrequent and stressful due to his wife's distaste for me and my children. He has had no contact with the kids in over 3 years, and his previous attempt was 4 years before that. My youngest says he will never forgive his father for replacing us all with a new family and forgetting us. The oldest says it's just not worth chasing someone who has no interest personally. I'm sad and angry on their behalf. He divorced me, not them. Edit. I can't reply to everyone, but I want to say, the amount of people who say they've experienced this same issue astounds me and breaks my heart. I just do not understand a parent who can walk away from their child. Ren. Even when it's been hard and I've had to be both mom and dad, I wouldn't trade my kids for anything. My daughter went through a traumatic event when she found out her mom was having an affair with a junkie. Daughter was furious at her mom for destroying the family. Mom flipped out, threatened suicide to our daughter's face, blaming her. At that moment, everything shifted and daughter became the nurturer to her mom, who regressed into childhood, a complete switching of roles when my daughter really needed a mom. Mom wasn't safe to be angry at, for fear she'd kill herself. So I became the target. We talk, but it's so terse and superficial that it's close to non-communication. I'd like to talk through what happened, even in a therapeutic setting, but daughter says that's off the table. I was very deep in resolving my own trauma when my kids were growing up. I was often distant and emotionally unavailable. I wasn't the parent they deserved. It is the greatest sorrow of my life. I did to my kids what my mom did to me. I can't be sorry enough. My stepdaughter is an addict and mentally ill. Her son was placed in our custody by the state 3 years ago at 13 months old, and she has never made the effort to regain custody. Her rights were terminated last year, and we adopted him last month when the state gave us the choice. She has hated us ever since he was placed here and has convinced herself that we stole her child. She only contacted my husband if she wanted money, which he won't give her, so that makes her hate us more. You win $1 million. The catch is you have to spend it in a week. How would you spend it? Give me about 20 minutes in Home Depot. Easy. Buy a house cash and prepay home insurance, property taxes as far as that money will get me. Maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. Student loans, house, car, it's gone leaf in wind. Property, hooker. Watch Brewster's Millions for ideas. What are signs that a person is horrible deep down? They take advantage of people who avoid conflict or can't stand up for themselves. When people use insult humor too much, to the point where it stops being fun and their passive-aggressive contempt becomes apparent. Can't celebrate others' success and tries to belittle it. They lie constantly, never take accountability and think it's funny or turn it into jokes. Everything is someone's fault, but that someone is never, almost never them. A lack of regard for any problems beyond those they are suffering themselves. Someone I know seemed emotionally vulnerable and deeply sensitive, but after years it became apparent that only his own problems mattered to him. He'd dismiss anyone else's struggles in an instant. He truly crossed the line when he casually dismissed his friend's legitimate suicide attempt, because he felt it paled in comparison to his own recent breakup of a month-long relationship. I don't understand how anyone who claims to go through so much suffering cannot empathize with those in similar or worse struggles. It feels so horrible to treat suffering as a dick measuring contest, where you get jealous and dismissive of somebody has it worse than you. What technology or gadget was all the rage years ago, but now feels like a relic of the past? Those 3.5mm jack to cassette tapes, which were witchcraft at the time. Seeing those makes me feel old now. Pagers. Segways were going to change the world. They did not. The Nokia N-Gage, motherfucker. BlackBerry phone. Obviously video game consoles come and go, but I remember being able to take my 3DS to the airport and get a guaranteed 8th to 10th Street passes. I haven't seen that little green light come on in maybe 6 years. Gamers of Reddit, at what age do you think you'll stop gaming? When I'm dead. I'm 52 and I'm still on Xbox daily. I like to message my grown kids gamertags to tell them I banged their mom last night. Why would someone stop gaming? Games have always been part of life. Old people playing chess or cards is still gaming, and nobody asks when grandma will outgrow her bridge group. It's just a generational misunderstanding that computer games are somehow just toys for kids. Never. I fully intend to be in the future version of a senior living community that has a LAN video game club room where we can play whatever the version of a game is, the classic one. Can you imagine a bunch of 60-year-olds all yelling at each other playing something like Among Us? Or super sexy modded version of BG3? Wouldn't that be enjoyable? I also think the older we, the very digitally connected generations, get, the less lonely and isolated we will be, as we are pretty familiar with ways to find new community or friends if so desired. Can you imagine a streamer house full of 70 yo gamer ladies who stream together and do crafts together? I'd watch the hell out of that now, honestly. At NG+. Subscribe, my brothers.